Now we're going to talk mortgages, and joining me now is Martina Hennessy, Managing Director of mortgage platform Doddl.ie, Doddl.ie. Martina, good morning.
Good morning, Pat.
Lots of savings there. Are we seeing that reflected in applications?
So absolutely, Pat. October saw a surge really in the number of mortgage approvals, resulting in a 10-year high on the approval levels for the last 10 years. So the mortgage approvals were valued at 1.25 billion in October, which was a real surge driven by first-time buyer and switcher mortgage applications that we saw during that month.
Is that impacting on prices, or are they still more or less static?
Yeah, well, the first-time buyer average mortgage was 245,000, which is up by 10,000 on the figure for October of the prior year. So that's reflected in, I suppose, the rise in house prices and the real demand for mortgage consumers to achieve mortgages so that they can go out and actually look to buy. We're seeing reports from all the agents across the country, in particular, in terms of the uplift and how quickly properties are selling once they go to market. So the old, 4-week, period of going sale agreed has now been brought back to 2 weeks, in particular and in the surrounding commuter belt in Ireland at the moment.
Now, some of the questions from our listeners. From William: I have a mortgage in my own name. Would it be possible to get my partner onto the mortgage? Presumably they're sharing the property and one person paying it. Can you add a second?
So absolutely, you can do that, and you can do that with your own mortgage lender, or indeed by switching your mortgage to another mortgage lender and looking to switch, add the second party to the mortgage, and also look to reduce your interest rate by switching to another lender. You may need to look at any tax implication that may be in place if there was a deemed gift by virtue of the transfer of any equity that's in that property. So it may be a decision around a tax liability that you might need to consider also in that case.
Can you ask, is there any way to keep a tracker as part of a mover mortgage if you're doing a self-build, and this is in the absence of bridging loans?
So absolutely. So most of the lenders who offer tracker portal products. So that means that if you're looking to move, to trade up, or to move property, that you can port the portion of the mortgage that's on a tracker rate to the new mortgage. And obviously trackers are a hugely valuable product. So really important that if you have a tracker, that you do look at looking to port that if you're moving on. The lenders will generally add 1% to that interest rate that you have, so to the tracker margin that you have, and it'll be for the remaining term of that mortgage period.
I have a joint mortgage with my estranged wife, which is in arrears around €10,000, maybe euro or pounds because it's in the UK. I have relocated here, living with a new partner. I pay the rent for the apartment, but I want to buy a 5-bedroomed house. Do I have to disclose the UK mortgage when applying for a mortgage in my sole name here in Ireland? And are there penalties if I omit it? I understand banks cannot do credit checks across borders. That's from JS.
Yeah, well, I suppose the main thing is you have to make full disclosure when you're making a mortgage application. So the fact that you would be a second-time buyer this time around will impact on the deposit amount that you have to have. But also, you will. Most of the lenders now do require, if you've lived outside of Ireland in the last 3 years or hold accounts outside of the ROI jurisdiction, they require that you have to have a credit check carried out, so an Experian credit check or other, which would obviously show this existing property. So full disclosure would be my advice on that, and that to that particular listener.
Some mortgage questions. My wife, out of the blue, announced that she wants to separate, insists it's over, no discussion. That was in September. I've asked her to leave as it's too hard to see her. She says she will leave after Christmas and pay her half of the mortgage for a short period under advice from a solicitor. I don't want to live without her in this place, but I can't afford to buy her out and could barely afford the mortgage on my own. Can she make me sell my house? Does she have to pay her half? Would going interest only affect my credit rating? The house is in my name.
Yeah, well, I would think, if the house is in your name only, you have a responsibility to pay that mortgage. It's probably a legal question as to whether the ex-partner does have a requirement to contribute to that household. But if the mortgage is in your name, you're solely liable to make payment on that mortgage. And if you amend the terms on that mortgage to reflect an interest-only period, or if the mortgage isn't paid, it certainly would impact your credit rating going forward. But if the mortgage is in your name, it's your responsibility, regardless of what your ex-partner decides to do or what you decide to do together in terms of financing that mortgage.
The next question says, I only recently started saving properly. I've about 20k and I'm on a single income of 50k. What are my best options? Help to buy, rebuilding Ireland, that sort of thing. Unlikely bank will give me anywhere near the amount required. I've been renting for 15 years and paying more than the mortgage repayments that I would be charged. That's from Dave.
Yeah, and I completely appreciate where Dave comes from, because this can be a really common frustration for people looking to get onto the property ladder. So they're paying more than effectively their mortgage repayment would be. But the lenders are really clear. So regardless of your ability to repay or your evidence of ability to repay, the lenders will always look at income. So under central bank lending rules, you're allowed to borrow 3.5 times multiple of your income. So hence, there are supports there like the Rebuilding Ireland a scheme that's in place. Also, I would say, yes, the Help to Buy is a great initiative for first-time buyers purchasing new properties. So it's new properties only, and you can get effectively a rebate of your tax credit that you've paid previously, up to 30,000. So that's a big help, helping hand, I suppose, for first-time buyers. A number of them would say that the price of new build properties is very high, and obviously then that can impact on their ability to be able to actually purchase a new build.
Next one. I have a tracker mortgage with Bank of Ireland, but looking to move to a larger house as my family is growing. What are my best options? Can I keep the tracker and bring it with me? Should I get a new mortgage and hold on to the first house and rent it? That's from Una.
Yeah, I suppose it depends on Una's circumstances, whether she'd be eligible to hold on to the existing mortgage and property, or whether she actually needs to sell that to release some equity. Because as a second-time buyer, Una'd have to have a 20% deposit. So if Una had that 20% deposit and her mortgage was relatively low on the existing property, she could look to port that or she could look to retain that property. Una can look to port that mortgage, to port that tracker mortgage. So it would be 1% plus the existing tracker margin that she has, and it would be for the remaining term. If Una borrowed over and above the balance on the existing mortgage, it would be at Bank of Ireland's prevailing rates. So there's plenty of options there, but really I think engagement in relation to what you can do, whether it's possible and feasible to hold the existing property and offset a rental against it, or whether it does need to be sold, might define what decision she makes on that.
And the income on the rental property, of course, will be liable to tax. So you've got to bear that in mind as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I think that's a part that some people forget, that obviously any gain, so, in terms of the interest, the profit on the rental income less the interest, is taxable. So that would have to be returned on an annual basis. So that needs to be taken into account. Holding on to a property, because it's obviously one of the costs in terms of doing that, as well as obviously the maintenance of the property, that also would be in play.
Yeah, property tax, insurance, all the rest of it. I'm looking to buy either a one or two bedroom. I'm looking to buy either a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment, but my bank KBC say they will only lend 80% for a 1 bed apartment, but they will lend 90% for a 2 bed. Is this a central bank requirement? As a single first time buyer, 2 beds are usually outside my price range.
Yeah, and this is a difficult one. I suppose a lot of first-time buyers, the single applicants in particular, due to budget, they may look to to buy an apartment because it's more feasible for them to live in the area they want to live in. And a lot of the lenders will restrict 1-bed properties, and that's not a central bank requirement. It's a credit policy or credit lending requirement. It depends on the location of the apartment. So, for example, 1-beds can be financed up to 90%, but it depends on the location. So, if the property is in a city location, then the lenders may review it on a case-by-case basis and allow you to go from their standard 80 or 85% right up to 90%, reducing the deposit level that you have. So, but it's generally just 1 bed. 2 beds, duplexes, they're all in order. It's just the 1 bed, because I suppose the lenders previously, when they looked at it in terms of risk, I suppose, and in the downturn in the market, they found that the 1 bed properties were the properties that dropped in value more quickly. So that, I suppose, is a risk assessment from a credit perspective. But it does very much depend on the location of the property. So I would call out that to the lender, and really important to be aware of that before you get your heart set on a particular property, that it can be, there can be constraints in terms of loan to value lending.
A mortgage broker be able to help you out and, canvass all the possible lenders to see who will lend money on a 1-bedroom apartment?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a massive point. So, there's 10 lenders on market, 4 of whom only deal with brokers. So the broker channel has really grown significantly, particularly in this year, where so many people aren't able to go to branches. They're going to the broker channel to look at who offer multiple lending options under one roof. So absolutely, just because one lender won't offer you that 90% finance for that that one-bed apartment in this particular circumstances. There are a range of other lenders that may do so. So the broker channel is a really, really solid option, a really great option for anybody who's looking to take out a mortgage, because you have a range of different options. Lenders underwrite in a very different way. All of them have their own quirks, as well as having different rates. They have different underwriting policy. So it's really important to understand what you can achieve on market, particularly right now where, you know, people are looking to borrow, and there's different constraints in terms of COVID, obviously, and the impact that has had.
And Martina, one final question. Myself and my partner have 70,000 saved for a deposit, but I had a credit card debt for 4 years that has just been paid off last week. I presume this will affect our application, but is there anything I can do to help improve it?
And so I suppose in terms of the credit card debt, you know, many people would have credit cards, but it depends on whether the credit card was serviced or whether there was missed payments and whether that was reflected on the CCR or the Irish Credit Bureau. So if it was on your credit record, certainly the lenders would want to get comfort as to why that appeared. If it's a credit card and you're using the credit card and you've shown that you've now cleared it off because you're making yourself putting yourself into a position where you're mortgage ready, then that shouldn't be an issue, provided, again, repayment capacity is proven by way of continued savings or rent. The credit card debt has now ceased and therefore shouldn't be an issue unless there is a credit issue. So there was missed payments on the credit card. That can be an issue.
All right. Martina, thank you very much for joining us. That's Martina Hennessy, Managing Director of mortgage platform Doddle.ie.